Boom.
Boom.
You seen that video of that
Boom.
owl? He's like, "You've got this, Travis."
You got this, Travis. Make him wait for it. Boom.
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 Hey monkeys, how you doing? Damian Keys here, and welcome to the hashtag Ask Damo show number 35? 35! Oh, we're getting there, aren't we? We're like, when we get to 100, we should have a big party and throw it for free and have free drinks for everybody
in the world.
The whole world. This is the show where you get to ask questions about music industry, social media, distribution, business, and we'll do our best to answer them. If we can't answer them, we'll go and find someone who can and bring the answer back the next week. But with me, as always, is Melissa.
Hey.
We have so many questions that we're
we're
actually changing the format of the show. Dun, dun, dun. So we're going to have, because there were so many questions, we're going to have 4 normal questions. But then we're also going to have a quick fire round.
Quick fire round.
Where there's another like 5 or 6 questions which I have to try and answer in like 30 seconds.
Yeah,
almost
you've got to
yes
be
or
like
no.
snappy.
Snappy. Good. We've got some stuff. Also, if you want to send some stuff in for the wall. Also, this is a community. That's what this is about. It's not just about learning. It's not just about education. This is about us all helping each other, because at some point you're going to be releasing music. You're going to be putting out videos. You want to get numbers. You want to get streams. You want to get likes. It's a community. I want you guys to prove that when you're watching this. I want you to go and find OLLIE. And I want you to just go and like some of his stuff, because we were talking this week, really like his stuff. He's got some stuff coming out. Just like if you've got stuff coming out, you need to let me know. We're going to keep featuring a band here every single week. If you want to be featured, let us know. We just need a reason. So if you've got an EP coming out, if you've got a single coming out, something new, something exciting, then do it. But OLLIE Stevens, go and check him out. Lovely guy, wicked music. So go and do that for me if you could, just because it will help. Ooh, I love the presents. If you want to send some stuff in, this is wrapped.
Wow, yeah, this is...
if you want to send some stuff in, then the address will be in the link. You grab that one.
Yay, Jesus! Ooh, this looks exciting.
This is YAZZY. Do you know what's very interesting when, like, with all the stuff, even though I get loads and loads of engagement that comes through, I try to check out everyone's stuff, and I've been really interested with YAZZY over the last couple of days. Yeah, last week. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Half lioness, half songbird.
Songbird.
Amazing. And this is for our wall. Thank you very much for that,
thanks,
YAZZY.
guys.
But yeah, and all look at that, brilliant. All the stuff on the back, which you'll be able to see, but we'll get on the wall. I'll give you a shout, YAZZY. We'll do a picture, and we should have a Skype and a
Is this a
shout.
solo artist?
She is, yes.
Oh, cool.
But it's really, the stuff that she does is really interesting,
nice
and I might do a little feature because it's very, very different. So. Yeah,
That's
really
a cool
good.
card.
Amazing.
Nice.
Thank you very much, YAZZY. We will get your stuff on the wall, and I'll give you a shout this week.
Nice one.
Right, let's get racking.
Let's kick off. Okay, so first question's from Flavius. And he says, do you think it's a good strategy to create a month-long content in advance? You know, sort of like, 30 Instagram pics, 2 singles posted every other week, that kind of thing, in order for a band to gain momentum and build an early identity without anticipating feedback and likes, which in turn might discourage enthusiasm?
Yes. You need to turn off your internet, only because with my computer, you're going to get loads of crap coming up. So... That's a really good question, and the answer to that is yeah, I do. I think that's a really good idea.
Yeah.
Because just like with songwriting and what I have on my phone, so literally goes with me. Not that phone, this phone. I have lists of everything. So I literally every time an idea comes up that pops into my brain where I'm talking to someone on it might be a Skype, it might be I'm talking to them on Facebook, and all of a sudden I just think that's a good point. I need to get that point out there. I write it down, just like a songwriter, a title might come in. Because if I don't have that, what happens is, like today, for example, after this, I have got the mother of all days. It's just crazy busy, and I want to try and do a video later. I cannot wait to be inspired, and sometimes I just don't have the time. And so Sarah might be saying, we need to do a video because we need to get a video out, and I'm like, where am I going to fit in? I haven't got the time. So It's a lot of the time we do fly by the seat of our pants, where we are literally like, oh god, we've got to do a video, we've got to get it out. 'Cause I really want to get something out every day. This is about daily content, and I really think that you guys need to be thinking about daily content in some form or another. And if you've got Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and YouTube, it's still daily content. You chose to have that many platforms. Tough. You got to live with it. And so if you are getting together with a band once a week, then yeah, I would be making 3 or 4 things that I can then spread out. So I tend to think of it with a pillar system. So at the moment, I'm building a new social media business. Got a meeting right after this with a potential with a client who we're going to talk about stuff. But for me, it's all about a pillar system. And this is what I would be doing with the band. I would be making long form content. I'd be making a piece of content which is like this show, which is 30, 40 minutes or 20, 30, 40 minutes, which is for me, it's for YouTube. Then what I would do is I'd be looking at breaking it down and then repackaging it and repurposing it into different social media. What I wouldn't do is, I like the idea of being able to build up content to then spread it out. But what I wouldn't want to do is I wouldn't want to go, right, we're going to make all of this content for Instagram, then start again and go, right, we're going to make all this fresh content for Facebook, right, start again. We're going to make all of this fresh content for YouTube, because then it gets too much. So what's really important is that you are making content that you can then break down. And yes, some people will follow me on Facebook, YouTube and Instagram, and some people will go, oh, I've seen that one on Facebook, or I've seen that bit on Instagram. But I try and repackage it so that unless you are on the YouTube and you get the long form video, I'm trying to make it so it has purpose for everything and it's different. And some people will see a couple of things twice, but on the whole, it's different audiences, differently packaged, there's different text to go with it. And then when you're breaking it down, what's really important is you're not just thinking of video. So because as creatives, as musicians, you can think about the visuals of a picture, the visuals of video. Audio is so crucial as a musician. The written word, like podcasting, there's so many things that you can take one piece of content and strip it down for parts and then distribute it into different places, which I would love to see more bands doing. And it's a lot less time consuming than if you're having to make fresh content all of the time. So for me, if I were doing that, I would get together once a week and I'd have like social media time, and I would have 3 or 4 things planned that we were going to do that we could then spread out over the week. And then I'd also have me or someone else in the team break that down on how we're going to put that into Twitter or Instagram or LinkedIn, or however we want to then spread it over the social media. So I do think it's a good idea. Social media is absolutely at its best when something's real. Yeah. It completely is. You are going to get the most amount of traction. You know, if you put a camera on just at the point where something really funny's happened and you're going, oh my God, this is hilarious, I've got to tell you about this, this is so funny, the audience is there with you. Yeah. If the next day you say, let me tell you this funny story that happened yesterday, it was really hilarious, they're not in the moment with you, so it doesn't feel as real. But what we've got to do is we've got to strategize the best way of doing it. And it is just not feasible for a band to live together, work together and be together at all time for most of these bands. So in which case, we've got to make the best of a situation. So if it can't be on the spot, and I'd still be looking at doing stuff on the spot, you know, I'd still be looking at doing Facebook Lives, I'd still be looking at actually creating content there and then in the moment, like Insta stories or Snapchats. But if you can't do that, I would absolutely start building stuff up so you've got things coming out, because consistency is the name of the game in this. We've got to be consistent. So, and a real bugbear, a real pet peeve is, because I get so many messages come through, and a lot of them revolve around very similar things. But this week, and I might do a rant on this later, but this week I've had so many people, probably because of the negativity around the Facebook algorithm, just saying, oh, I'm not getting the reach that I want, I'm putting stuff out and I'm not getting the reach. And then I go onto their Facebook and I'm like, you put 3 things out, 3 bits of content out a month. Yeah. I'm like, That's not building a relationship. Like,
Yeah.
imagine if like we talked 3 times a month. You wouldn't be like, you're my best friend.
Yeah.
Like, you wouldn't. Like,
Yeah.
it's just not the way it works. Especially where one of them you go, but that's the video and that's the thing that I want. And this is me changing my profile pic. Oh, and that's me inviting you to a gig. It's like, okay, so 3 bits of content, 1 bit of value.
Yeah.
In 12 months. You times that every single month for an entire year, what are you going to do? 12 pieces of valuable content. And you think that's enough. You think that you're going to compete on a level with bigger bands by putting out 1 piece of content a month. Like, times have changed. This is the time where you have to put out valuable content at least 2, 3, 4 times a week, if not every day. Not because, and this is the important thing, you don't have to put valuable content out every day because you can. That doesn't matter. You have to put out that much content because that's what people expect now.
Yeah.
People want more. They don't care. If you go missing, all that happens is you go missing and they move on to the next person. So
Would you say it's a balance of planning ahead and trying to do real kind of at the same time kind of content as well?
absolutely, yeah. And I'm transparent with all of the stuff that I'm doing because I want to be able to learn more, and I want to be able to give you guys the stuff that I'm learning because I'm working on this with people literally 24/7. So I'm not just doing it and going, oh, I tried this. I'm saying I'm doing this every single day. I'm telling you what works. It's things like Twitter. If you're on Twitter and you're a big fan of Twitter, Twitter works best when you're in the moment and you are on Twitter. However, it's not feasible for most people to just sit on Twitter all day.
Yeah.
So you need to have certain things which are just triggering engagement, which is where something like Hootsuite's really good for, to say, here's my pillars which carry on. So I've got a few things that I'm hooking up for the next couple of weeks. But then I'm on Twitter making sure that all my notifications are on, so when something comes through that I'm chatting with people, it's just strategies that you can say it is not feasible for me to live in social media land when you've got the band to sort out, the songs to sort out, getting all the organisation of the band sorted out, going on tours, putting the tours together, all of that stuff, and then going, by the way, I've also got a full-time social media job with this. I know it's not feasible, but people's expectation and consumption is still the same. That won't change. Just because you can't do something doesn't mean people won't care.
Yeah.
So your job, in which case, is to be the best of the situation, and that is a good idea, to actually just say, well, in which case, let's get together and start making more long-term content and breaking it down so that we have got a bunch of content in the bag ready to go out over a period of time. It's a good idea.
Yep. All right, so question 2. We actually have 2 questions, but we sort of linked them together because they're along the same theme. So the first one's from James. It says, hi Damo, hope you're well. What are your thoughts on support slots to build an audience? How do you get them? How can you get on the radar of bigger acts? Or is it another case of get them to come to you? And then the second question's from Glenn, who's asked, what advice would you give to an artist wanting to get on the back of larger artist tours? And do you think if you did this, it'd be beneficial to the smaller artists?
Okay, so both of this is about getting onto sort of larger bands tours to be able to collab with bigger artists. And both questions are very similar, so we put them both together. And my thoughts are, if you can do it, absolutely, why wouldn't you want to go on tour? It's how, the second part of the question, how we're going to do that. How are we going to get onto these larger tours? And as James said, is it a case of getting them come to you? Probably not, no.
Yeah.
That would be nice if we just say, we're going to build and build and build and tell the artist, say, wow, this is an up and coming band, we're coming for you. But cutting through the noise is difficult. So you have options. This, to me, is all about leverage. What is it that you can do for a larger artist to get them to take you on? And as a lot of you are aware, there are a lot of buy-ons where you just say, look, money is key in the music industry. People don't buy music, so the amount of money that comes in from actual physical music sales has gone down and dwindling. So people are looking around at monetizing something else, at monetizing their influence. And that's what this is. This is just influencer marketing. So if you are a band that goes out and plays in a 1,000 capacity venue and fills it up over 4 weeks, then they've got influence. Just the same as someone who's on Instagram, who's got 1 million Instagram followers, has influence. If you can get on tour with someone else's band, you are basically getting in front of people and effectively being endorsed by another band who are further ahead than you. So in which case, if you think of it like that, it's going to be hard because they have got they have got something that you want, so you're going to have to leverage that, and money is going to be a way. So you can do buy on tours with a lot of bands where you just say, look, how much is it going to cost for us to come on tour with you, and then you are spreading certain costs of the tour. Obviously a lot of bands are going, well, I haven't got it. Okay, so in which case, what have you got? And so then it's like, it comes down to, have you got things like a really decent audience? Can you sell a certain amount of tickets? You know, if for example, good sneeze.
So hard not to.
If you look at a band like, you know, Foo Fighters coming across and getting Royal Blood to support, I mean, so Royal Blood can do their own big headlining tours. They might not be able to do as big as Foo Fighters, but they are doing big headlines. But you put those two together and you go, wow, what a show that's going to be. And you're definitely going to get people that will go, I'd like to go and see the Foo Fighters. I might have seen them a couple of times, but I'd like to go and see the Foo Fighters. Oh, Royal Blood is supporting. Oh my God, how sick would that be? We get to see both of them at the same time. That's a real sale.
Yeah.
So there's the leverage. Royal Blood is saying, well, you know, we're not as big as you, but we can definitely drag people into this gig and make it A, an amazing experience, and B, sell more tickets. Possibly even put the ticket price up a little bit. I know this is very, very capitalistic, but possibly even put the ticket price up a little bit and cover all the costs of having a band like that with them. So the leverage becomes very important. What is it that you've got? And most bands aren't on the level to be able to do that. And most bands are thinking of it as just the music.
Yeah.
And it isn't, because we are living in now where if it was you, for example, because everyone goes, yeah, but if it was me, well, I do the right thing. Well, yeah, but when you get there and you're skint and you're thinking about how to finance this, like you are right now with your band, and you've got leverage, if you're going out and every time you do a gig in your local community and you're bringing 100 people and there's a brand spanking new band that comes along and says, we could probably bring another 5 people, you're thinking, I'm doing you a favour. So are you going to do that if 5 bands come along and just say, do us a favour? You're going to go, well, I can't take all of you on, I'm going to have to take one. You're going to look around for which is the best thing for you, because we live in a selfish world. You want the best thing for you. So it all comes down to leverage. It's not just as simple as going to a booking agent. Everybody wants a booking agent, but there's this many bands trying to get on booking agents, and there's this many booking agents. They can't physically represent everybody, so until that point you have to get the momentum going until it clicks, and at that point people are then coming to you. So is it a case of getting people to come to you? A little bit, but what it actually is a case of leverage. So it might be that you have to buy onto smaller tours and not look to these massive jumps. It might be that you're looking at, if you can bring 100 people to a local venue, that you're actually looking at who's coming down and actually being able to take that audience to a slightly bigger band who's on tour. Or if you actually want to go on an actual tour, it might be a case of saying, look, we're going to have to save up. You might have to save up $5,000 and put that money into getting on a tour for 5 to 10 dates, however long the tour's going to be, in order for you to get in front of that audience. Audience is now the key thing. That's why we're doing this. That's why this social media channel is so important, because audience is the key. Reach is the key. It's all very well. People just say, nah, man, it's just about the music. It's not anymore. Like, this is the thing. It's not just about the music. Because you can write the greatest song that's ever been written, and unless people hear about it and spread the word, unless they do that, it will just sit in your archives. So it's got to be about distribution as well as great talent. It has to be both. And so in this instance, audience is key, and getting in front of people, it costs money, or if not, some way of bartering. You know, if I can get in front of you. So, you know, that's why this is important, because I get to do stuff like this and promote someone like OLLIE, and he gets that for free. But, you know, try doing that on blogs and vlogs all the time. It's difficult. It's really hard. So people want money for that stuff. It's really bad. So if you haven't got money, you have to have leverage. And if you haven't got leverage, you've got to find your tipping point. And your tipping point might be, I can't buy onto a big tour because I haven't got the money, so I'm going to have to go on to a smallish tour and say to a band, what we'll do is, we can't bring lots of people, but what we can do is we'll tour manage your band, or we'll come and be we'll actually be the road crew to save you money, but our band gets to do something. That's leverage. That's saying, this is what we can do for you. And if you said, what we'll do is we'll tech for your band, we'll drive you to the places in a van, we'll hire the van so you don't have to do it. So we'll do all of the donkey work, but we get to do a 20-minute slot before you play. Then, you know, it might be worthwhile for
Yeah.
some bands to go, that makes our lives a lot easier.
It sort of comes down to collaboration again.
Absolutely,
in a way.
yeah. What can you bring?
Yeah.
If you say, look, you're a bigger band than us, what about if we put on the tour, we do the promotion, we talk to the venues, we'll do all that crappy stuff that you don't want to do, we'll do all that for you, but we get to come with you.
Yeah.
You know, it's finding your strength and skill set that you can leverage onto something if you don't have the money. But the fastest way is
Yeah.
just show me the money.
Yeah. All right. So, next question is from Liam. What is the best way to utilise a music video in order to get the most out of the content and increase its value? And how important do you feel music videos are for new artists?
And this is a really good question, and I like this question. It also, a very similar one came through this morning on YouTube, which, because I was working on some of this stuff last night, I didn't have a chance to add that one in. But very similar thing about music videos. And I've had a similar conversation 3 times this week about music videos. I think music videos are important, so I wanted to get a couple of things across.
Quick fire as well.
Yeah, I want to get a couple of things across about music videos, which because there's a few things that, for me personally, I hate. I hate lyric videos. I just think, why are you making a video?
Yeah.
I was like, what value is a lyric video? Just so that you can get it onto YouTube, which is a video sharing platform. So you're trying to get your audio on. You're trying to cheat the system by crowbarring on, just so people can go and find it on YouTube instead. For me, I'm like, just go make a video.
Yeah.
Right? Like, because
you were doing so well.
Yeah, go make a video because it's cheap. You can make something good now with an iPhone. Like, you don't need to have a £10,000 budget. So you know, if you're gonna put all that time and effort into making a really great song, then just make a decent video. It doesn't have to be high production. It has to be something that's creative, and you can do something creative for nothing. So, but the thing with music videos is very, very important. So, I actually think one of the questions, what was that? So the best way to utilize a music video, well, it's distribution, is what it is. And so this is the conversation I've had 3 times this week. I worry that people put a lot of time and effort into a music video, and then they don't get the result that they want. Same thing with an EP or a single. And the reason why it worries me is because of this, if you build it, it will come mentality. If I put lots of time, effort and money into a music video, and then I put it out there, everyone will recognise my genius, and it will fly more, and there's more chance of people will share it. Well, not always the case. In fact, very rarely is that the case. People share creative, remarkable, shareable things. They don't share good quality things. There's a big difference. You don't share something because you go, look at the camera lens that's done to that video.
Yeah.
You don't. You just go, oh my god, you have to see this. That's why people share it, because they say, do you know who, or they tag someone in. So the amount of times that I'll see something and I'll be like, Andy needs to see this, and I'll tag Andy, and occasionally I'll say, my whole Facebook needs to see this, and I'll share it to them. It's got to be shareable, and it isn't just good quality. So my worry is in putting all of your eggs into this, making a great video and putting it onto YouTube, and then sitting back and going, go on then.
Yeah.
Is the same thing as making an EP and saying, guys, I'm going to do an EP, it's going to be fantastic, or the EP's exciting, oh, it's really, really good. Tell you what, the EP's coming out next week, oh, 2 days to the EP, let's have an EP launch, everyone comes to the EP launch, right, by the way, now you can buy an EP. Nothing. And then bands just go, right, that was good, yeah, so we did our EP launch, yeah, we sold 10 EPs on the day. Well, what next? What do you do what do you do every day for the next 365 days to sell that EP? Because you better believe when this book comes out for me, I'm not going to just be going, by the way, buy my book until the day it comes out. I'm going to be rinsing it until the next book comes out. By the way, there's going to be a next book. And that to me is distribution.
Yeah.
So when it comes to a music video, what do? Well, you go and find forums on Facebook as a first thing, and you go and actually start talking to people on those forums. You start sharing your videos to people. You start showing it to people and saying, by the way, look at this. You start finding tags and hashtags that are going to fit in, that people are going to search for. This is hardcore distribution. You find some money in order to find a way of actually doing some kind of Facebook boosts to your audience, because you now know that not all of them are going to see it. So if you're putting a music video out there and you want people to see it, who do you want to see it? Why do you want them to see it? And then how are you going to get it in front of those people? Going back to the first question, the distribution and the reach and the audience and get people to see stuff becomes the most important thing. And that is influence, and that's leverage. It's hard to do. So for me, I'd be spending 2 to 3 hours a day. If I only made one video, if this was the video that I made that was going to launch me, and I was going to be like, this is going to launch me as Damian Keyes, the music industry guy, and I'm not going to do another one tomorrow, another one tomorrow, another one, which I'm lucky enough to have that facility to be able to do because of the way I work with the business and the team I have around me, so I'm quite lucky. But if this was the video, the one video that I could only do, I would spend 2 to 3 hours every single night for 2 to 3 months getting this video in front of more people again and again, and I'd be going on forums and just chatting to people, and when they're like talking about questions, I'd be saying, oh dude, I think I can help you, why don't you message me, by the way, here's a video to show roughly what I do. And I'd be doing that again and again and again, and I'd be sat on Instagram and I'd be finding bands and I'd be saying, I think this video can help you. I've seen what you're doing. I wanted to help you. You don't have to watch it, but I think this can help you. And if you could do that 100 times a night on Instagram over a year, you're talking about 30, 40,000 bands that would see me and then go, oh yeah, that guy, that I keep seeing that guy. And then in 3 months' time, I'd do another video.
Would you be sending like to bloggers and influencers as well?
Yeah, I would. But at the same point, people spend a lot of time on trying to get their EP in front of a blogger.
Okay.
It's tough. I mean, you've been doing this, not just with your band, but you've been doing this for me, where you're actually going and finding people for the book. One thing we're doing with the book, and you guys should be doing this with your EP launch, one thing we're doing with the book is we are going and finding people who review books or who are in an influence of people that have books that would be prepared to take a rough copy of the book, to read it and put something out there. It's weeks. It's weeks. You're coming in and you're working with me and you're working with John Michael Morgan, who's the mastermind behind it, and you're actually putting together this strategy, and it's work. It's proper work. Graft. It's hard graft. And it's going to carry on for the next 3 months, 2 months, and then after that the book comes out, and after that we have to just spend the next 3 months then going, right, well, what's next? What's the next bunch of people? How are we going to get on the next podcast? How are we going to get on the next thing? It's really hard work. So if it's really hard work, another thing you can do is you can say, well, before we do that, there are some quick wins, because if you're in a classic rock band, then there's loads of classic rock forums and chats on Facebook. If you're in a Christian band, one of the questions that came through yesterday, which I really wanted to answer but we didn't have time, I might do next week, was about breaking into the Christian music scene. Well, it's the same thing as if you're in the death metal scene. It's a niche. It's how we're going to break into that niche. It's getting in front of the right people, and there's going to be Christian music chats and forums. You need to be not just posting in it, you need to be part of the community. So there's a difference when you're in a community as living. There's a difference between you the neighbour and you the community person. You the neighbour is the person that never gets seen. Oh yeah, there's a guy who lives in there, you'll never see that. Or no, that's Damo. Yeah, no, we all go to the pub together and we chat about stuff, and yeah, he lends me his guitar, or that's part of the community. And then the other one is just happen to go in to living in that
same space.
Being in the same space. Good, well put, exactly the same. So your job isn't to be in the same space and just go, here's my stuff. It's to build relationships and be part of the community. And so it's distribution. And having a target, so you can say, we need to get to 10,000 views on this, and I'm not going to stop until I get
And that's how you'd sort of sum up getting the best out of a music video. It's just distribution.
Work. And work and work
really
and
hard.
work and work and work.
All right, nice. So, final question before quickfire.
Whoa.
So this is from Mike. What's your opinion on young or experienced bands playing for free / being paid pittance, and the effect it has on the current scene? Is it devaluing music to the general listener?
Do it. Free. Oh, I'm going to get some stick for this. This
boy.
is where everyone goes, yeah, that Damo. They're going to go, no, I hate him.
Yeah.
No, but I tell you what, one thing I hear a lot is how things are affecting a scene. Like, the actual music scene isn't affected by that. The music scene isn't affected by quality, because when you were coming up and when I was coming, I was shit. I remember doing the first gig. If I go back now, I'll watch it and be like, ooh, that was terrible. You got to cut your teeth somewhere. And so when I did my first bunch of gigs, I did them for free. I didn't just go, right, I want to go and do it. Imagine doing a gig. How cool is it going to be doing a gig? Right, how much are you going to pay me? People will go, nothing. Nothing at all. And so, same thing with being a musician. is when I was coming up through the ranks, I needed to get experience. Experience is the number one thing, because I need to know that when I can go and do a gig, something is going to go wrong and how I can fix it. You know, and I work with musicians every day, and I can promise you this, that they're all rather cocky when it's all going well. It's all fantastic, but when the poop hits the fan, then all of a sudden, that's when lots of people break. That's when I get loads of phone calls. Oh, what's going wrong?
Yeah.
What am I going to do? What am I going to do? And it's like, yeah, that's experience. Once you've dealt with the things going wrong 50 times, those things don't throw you anymore. But they do for the first couple. The first time that you've done a bunch of gigs and you are turning up to a gig and your car breaks down, that first time that happens, oh, it's brown trousers. That is a time of panic. The time that you have to ring that agent the first time and go, I have a problem, is sphincter shattering, is what it is.
See where these expressions.
So, you know, and so that's experience. And so how do you get experience? Well, in order to get experience, you have to do stuff for free. You don't buy a guitar and say, right, I'm going to practice in order to get really good. Who's going to pay me?
Yeah.
You don't do that. Nobody would pay you to practice guitar at the beginning, so why should they pay you to do the first batch of gigs? It's just that there are more people in the world now wanting to actually play guitar. There's more music colleges around throwing out musicians, and if I'm honest, there's too many music colleges throwing out substandard musicians who aren't good enough, and then everyone is leaving music college after 3 years of being told, you the man, you the man, you the man, and people go, oh, I'm the man, oh, okay, well, I should get paid, shouldn't I? And then you're coming out into the industry and you got to compete with me. And I'm gonna shit on you as a bass player, like, because I've done 2,000 gigs. How can you compete with that on a level? Just like Nathan East comes along and I go, oh, I can't compete with Nathan. He's really, really amazing. So it's finding your level. And so if you have to do stuff for free, you have to do stuff for free. That's just building your legacy from the start. You can't just jump halfway and go, I don't want to do the horrible bit. Just like every single band going, I'm going to have to do the toilet tour. I'm going to have to do those venues where 2 people show up because next time 10 people will show up. Do you want to? No, I want to go and play Wembley Stadium. Yeah. But you can't jump into these things. So does it devalue the stream? No. And just like new musicians coming in to want to get paid, does that devalue it? I hear that all the time. It doesn't, because all it does is it says that if you are at a very high level and you've been doing this for 10 years and you can't compete, that's your problem, not the fact that because there's always new musicians coming through. There always has been. And it's the same thing as when people, for me, when I hear people go, coming over here, taking their jobs, and I just think, dude, they've got no shoes and they don't speak English. If they're taking your jobs, what does that say about you as opposed to them? For me, when it comes to the music industry, the lower end, and that's what we're talking about, the lower end. We're not talking about people just coming in and demanding thousands of pounds for playing a gig and people going, yeah, they should get that. We're talking about the low end. The way you do it is you have to build experience and you have to take on anything and everything. And if you can get paid, great. But if you can't, you do the gig anyway. Because for me, if you're a musician and you're watching this, not a band, but if you're a musician wanting to get work and get paid, if you are in on a Saturday night and you are not doing a gig, you are doing it wrong. For me, it's as simple as that, because Saturday night, musicians should be out playing. If this is your career, if you have a Saturday night off, for whatever reason, gig's been cancelled, it's February, whatever it is, if you don't have a gig on a Saturday, you need to be thinking to yourself, I've royally done something wrong to get to this point. Or I haven't worked hard enough. Or I'm angry with myself because I've got, and you know, every so often musicians will have a Saturday off, and that's when they get on their phone and go, drummer available for Saturday, I've not got a gig, anyone need a gig. If you're not doing that, if you're not panicking because you don't have a gig on Saturday night, free or otherwise, then you're not doing it quite right. And for me, if you've got lots of Saturdays free as a musician, then that's the time where you just go, well, in which case, get me the gigs first and the money will follow.
Yeah. All right.
I'm going to get stick for that.
Yeah. All right, final quick fire round.
Quick fire round. Okay, so the quick fire round was there's a bunch of questions which I felt were quite quick.
Quick fire.
But I'm going to try and answer them all in 30 seconds.
All right.
Okay.
Just have like a little timer.
Okay.
Ding, ding, ding. Yeah. Okay. First one is from Ruben. Follow your fans back or not?
Yes, if it brings value. Don't follow for a follow.
Okay.
But if someone follows you and you know what it's like when it's exciting, when you get a follow back from a band or an artist that you like, you're like, oh yeah, you're going to tell people about that, and that will therefore spread the word. So yes.
Okay.
But not just for the sake of following.
Yeah. 2 from Tom. Should singles only be released with music videos?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Because it's easy nowadays. So if you're putting all that work into a single, we live in a visual world. We don't live in an audio world. Yes, podcasts are great and stuff, but when it comes to music, do it anyway.
Yeah.
Yes, people will listen to stuff on Spotify and they might buy it on iTunes, but have something visual that will link along with it. So don't be lazy. Yes.
Okay, from Scott. Bass player to bass player, in your opinion, what are the 3 tunes most useful for developing technique and working on groove?
Deggy from Gorilla Riot.
Oh, nice.
Legend, and they're doing really, really well. Just been signed up, so they are.
Oh, no way.
They're motoring, yeah.
Sick.
And he's such a lovely guy. 3 tunes. Okay, that's gonna be really, really difficult because my answer to this is depending. Like, for their style of music, it's more rock. So, it's going to be different. I wouldn't say go and listen to Earth, Wind and Fire and Chic and the first Jamiroquai album with Stuart Zender, who's phenomenal, by the way. Because all of a sudden I personally wouldn't want I wouldn't want a funk bass player in my metal band.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't want Dave Ellefson from Megadeth in my funk band.
Yeah.
So therefore it's got to link. So I would say it's more importantly about finding bass players who just have really solid albums and working on technique. And there's plenty of stuff on YouTube. But very, very quickly, bass playing as a bass player is all about right hand technique. And the power that comes from right hand technique, whether it's a pick or where the fingers start playing, you've got to lock your hand. So you've got to get your thumb locked on if you're playing with fingers. I hate it when I see bass players where their thumbs wandering around. Bass is a power instrument. You have to get power out of the strings. You've got big fat strings. You've got to lock your thumb down and you've got to go through the string.
Yeah.
None of this tickling crap. If you're a pick, you get the biggest, fattest, heaviest pick, and you literally go through that string because that resonates a piece of wood and a bass. An electric instrument with acoustic properties, which means if you hit it harder, you get more out of it. You get more tone, you get more mids out of the instrument. So you've got to give it some power. So go and find the music you love and just sit and play it. And anything technical, there's Scott's bass lessons. That guy's a legend.
Nice. Okay. From David. Recording album, nothing released yet. Thinking of giving away 4 to 5 tracks as free single streams with other tracks only available through album purchase. Yay or nay?
Okay, so I think I understand the question. The question is, we're going to give away a certain amount of music to get people to pay for more music.
For the rest, yeah.
Yes, but it needs more.
Yeah.
So yes, but don't expect that to just be the be all and end all.
Yeah.
And so one thing I would say is a no to is this idea that if you buy this, you get 4 tracks for free. People don't want more music. People want you, is what they want. So if you say, here's a track, but if you buy one, you get one free. People don't go, oh, in that case, I'm getting more for my money. Music doesn't work like that. So it's more important that you're giving away you and people are buying into it. And the tracks are great and you've got a strategy around the whole thing. But but this try before you buy and how you do that, yes. So in which case, being able to perform stuff on your Facebook, be able to say, here's some free music, some free music, but I'm letting you know that I need you to buy the 4th one. So how you do it is important. It's not just a case of saying, buy 4, get 1, or buy 1, get 4 free.
Yeah.
That wouldn't work.
All right. And finally, which day of the week is best to release new material?
And this is such a good question.
Yeah.
Because this is a question that A, I get asked all the time.
Yeah.
And B, I don't know.
There's not a magic answer.
No,
yeah.
and I get asked all the questions. And it's a question I want to ask other people. I want to go, what's the best? And they always tell me a different answer. And I go,
I feel
why
like
is
there
there
should
not...
be like some golden truth. Yeah.
and the reason why there's no magic answer, I can tell you what this channel is. But we try different times and we're always experimenting because you're either caught up in a noise and everyone says 8 o'clock on a weekday and you go, okay, so you put out, everyone puts out content at 8 o'clock on a weekday. So then you think, well, I'm not at that point yet, so I'm gonna have to change the time. But there's certain times that are probably a no-go, and so when people are just going to work, great. When they're in work and they've just been there for half an hour to an hour, probably not. So is there a magic time? There's not. But and also, what happens if your audience is 13 to 15 year olds, and what happens if your audience is 25 to 35 year olds, and what happens if your audience is female, and what happens if your audience is male, and what happens if your audience is 50% in America and 50% in the UK? It's a really, really difficult one.
Yeah.
But I think the answer to this is something that's consistent and something that people will know when it's coming out. So rather than just saying, today we've got something coming out, so we'll put it at 8 o'clock, I think it's more important to say to people, this stuff comes out 8 o'clock on Monday to Friday. And one thing that is hard is getting any traction on Friday nights or Saturdays. Sarah's probably better for this. Saturdays is tough. Yeah, so Friday nights and Saturdays is tough because people are off doing their own thing.
Yeah.
So it's more about there are certain times which aren't so good.
Yeah.
But what's really important is consistency.
All right, and we're out of questions.
Oh, I love that. That was really, really good. Right.
Nice.
So questions. Probably we're going to do another Facebook post next week, which you'll see. Any questions, then you need to hashtag it. If you want some Skypes for the guys who've asked questions, then you're more than welcome. So get in touch with Katie, which is katie@dkmanagement.co.uk, link below. Go and do me a favour now and just go and check out OLLIE and just give him a like or a comment or subscribe. Send us some stuff for the wall because we need more stuff. Thank you very much to YAZZY for the t-shirt. And next week?
Yeah.
See you next week.
See you next week.